Chapter 927. Little Blackbird, who was wronged when an Feng and an Yin regained their sixth senses, they saw His Excellency and Ninth Miss happily playing five-piece chess, as if the previous dispute had not existed. Moreover, His Excellency had lost more than he won. It was obvious that he was going easy on her. They saw that his eyes overflowed with affection for the one who sat across him. And Feng gave Chujiu a thumbs up in his heart. Damn, only the Ninth Miss had such ability. His Excellency was extremely furry. Even the Palace Mistress and Palace Master could not tame him. He did not expect to see His Excellency so docile in such a short time. Chujiu and Di Biming recounted recent events while playing chess. Di Biming said, I sent people to look for the primordial fruit, but there is still no news. If it really can't be done, I will ask the master for some marrow cleansing pills. Di Biming was also worried about Chujiu entering Tianyuan Academy alone. It was not bad to let Feng Ming and the others enter together with her. Most importantly, the three of them did not have any romantic feelings for little Jiu. With them watching over little Jiu, it would alleviate some of his worries. When Di Biming thought of this, he began to plan in his heart. If he had time, he would have to contact the three of them to stay in touch with each other. At that time, he could replace the current role of an Feng. Tianyuan Academy was different from the Spirit Radiance sect. The security there was very tight, and an Feng would not be able to sneak in. Prince Charming, that is also possible. However, your master's whereabouts are uncertain, so it is not certain when he will be able to be contacted. Moreover, I feel that the Universal Essence Cleansing Pill is more awesome. It's just a pity that I ate both of the primordial fruits back then. If only I kept just one. The most annoying thing is that the core of the primordial fruit that I buried at the corner of the wall somehow disappeared. I don't know if it turned rotten or if someone stole it, Chujiu said angrily. Miss Jiu, the core of the primordial fruit is hardy. Even if it doesn't sprout, it won't rot. Could it be that you misremembered where you planted it? And Feng came up to her and said, No, I remember it clearly. I also searched the surrounding soil, but I didn't find any traces of the core. Could it have been stolen? It shouldn't be. Others don't know that I buried the core. It's really strange. And Feng glanced at the three silly munchkins who were playing and said in a low voice, Miss Jiu, could it be that the three of them dug it out and ate it secretly? And Feng's words made sense to Chujiu. The three of them were very greedy. Perhaps they dug out the fruit core and ate it, especially the little blackbird, who was the prime suspect. When she buried it, it had been watching her do it. Little Blackbird, come here. Chujiu hooked her finger at Little Blackbird. Little Blackbird flew over and said, Master, are you going to give me something delicious? Chujiu grabbed Little Blackbird's short wings and said, Speak. Did you dig out the seeds of the primordial fruit and eat them? Little Blackbird was stunned for a moment, then he burst into tears. Wah wah, Master. You have made me so sad. I have been loyal to you. I have worked hard even though I have not contributed much. How could you slander and malign me like this? You have broken my heart. Besides, I am not a beggar. Why would I dig up fruit cores? Wah, I don't want to live anymore. I am too ashamed. I have been framed. Am a victim of injustice. Chujiu touched her nose guiltily. Little Blackbird, I was just asking. I didn't say that you were the one who stole the food. Can't I even ask questions? Master, don't you feel guilty saying that? Why did you only ask me? You even grabbed me by my wings. You are obviously treating me as a suspect. Wah wah, I am so sad. I don't want to live anymore. Chapter 928. Master, I want to make a report, and Feng silently stepped backward. Damn. This little blackbird was a copy of Miss Jiu. He was too talkative. If he knew that he was the one who did it, he would be tortured to death. Chujiu coughed dryly with a guilty conscience. All right, it's my fault this time. As compensation, we'll have some roast meat later. Little Blackbird wanted to continue haggling for more benefits, but he saw Di Biming's cold gaze. He was terrified. All right, Master, you must not suspect me in the future. I'm such a good bird. Why would I steal food? Especially a fruit core. Chujiu nodded and let Little Blackbird go. After Little Blackbird was freed, he immediately flew up to the tree and cursed. Damn it, If I find out who said bad things about me in front of my master, I will not forgive him. I curse him to fall to his death. Umph. And Feng, who felt miserable, fell to the ground. After he got up, he even tried to cover it up and said, "Sigh, I have been feeling dizzy for the past few days. I even fell in the middle of the day." Little Blackbird snorted. "Humph. I won't forgive that bastard. Oh, curse him at least once every day. Well, see." Chujiu was secretly amused. And Feng had gotten into trouble this time. Little Blackbird had become vengeful. Since it was also lunchtime, Chujiu prepared the roast meat. She remembered that she had not seen the fire spirit beasts for a long time, so she ran to the back of the West Peak and called the 9 fire spirit beasts over. The fire spirit beasts had not seen Chujiu for a long time, so they were very excited when she called them, especially the 5 little fire spirit beasts, who cutely shook their heads and wagged their tails. It was the first time that the flaming 3-tailed fox king and Little Blackbird saw these fire spirit beasts, and they were extremely shocked. Damn. These are exotic beasts, fire spirit beasts, aren't they? It was said that it was difficult to tame even one, but the crazy master managed to tame 9? This was too crazy. Chujiu let the 3 silly munchkins play with the fire spirit beasts while she and Feng roasted the meat. While Chujiu was roasting the meat, Little Blackbird secretly flew over. "Master. Master. I want to report something." Little Blackbird said, "Report?" Chujiu was stunned. "Report what?" The Little Blackbird used its short wings to point at the little fire spirit beasts. "Master, look, they keep pulling on the ground with their claws. They even eat pebbles. Maybe the core of the fruit was swallowed by them," said Little Blackbird. Chujiu looked in the direction that Little Blackbird was pointing at. Sure enough, the 5 little fire spirit beasts were using their claws to dig at the ground and swallow some of the stones inside. Chujiu's heart skipped a beat. She had once let these fire spirit beasts play in the yard. It was possible that they had swallowed them. However, after seeing how Little Blackbird reacted when he was wrongly accused, Chujiu was more tactful this time. She walked to the side of the little fire spirit beasts and asked, "Do you eat the stones you find too?" A soft child's voice responded, "Yes, we like to eat stones, but Master, your food is even better. Master wants to ask you, have you seen a fruit core here? There are very deep patterns on it, and it's brown in color." Before Chujiu could finish, one of the small fire spirit beasts said, I've seen it. That fruit core is very strange. My strong stomach couldn't digest it. It's in our cave, and it even sprouted." Chujiu was so elated that she almost jumped. She tried hard to suppress her excitement. "Is what you said true? It sprouted? Isn't the temperature in your cave very high? You can't see the sun from inside too, so how did it sprout?" Chapter 929. The Sapling of the Primordial Tree. That's right. We were also puzzled, but it still sprouted nonetheless. The leaves that have grown out are still fiery red. They look like us. The little fire spirit beast said proudly. Chujiu pounced to Ming's side and asked with a trembling voice, "Prince Charming, what color are the leaves of the primordial fruit?" Ming thought for a moment and said, "I haven't seen it before, but it is said that the leaves of the primordial tree are special. They are fiery red." Chujiu immediately laughed out loud. "Ha ha ha. Those who are blessed are truly fortunate. My prince, the primordial fruit has been found, ha ha." Chujiu's laughter gave everyone and the other beasts a fright. Has this fellow gone mad? Little Gio? Ming called out a few times. Chujiu, who was in a state of ecstasy, finally calmed down a little. "Prince Charming, the seed of the primordial fruit was eaten by the little fire spirit beast. It actually germinated in their cave." Chujiu said excitedly. Ming was also surprised. This was too much of a coincidence. No one had ever known how the seeds of the primordial tree germinated. He did not expect that it needed to be swallowed by a fire spirit beast before it could germinate. No wonder the primordial tree was so rare. The seeds of the primordial tree were already rare enough. Add to it the rarity of finding a fire spirit beast. The chances of putting the two together and getting a fire spirit beast to swallow the seeds of the primordial tree would be even smaller. He did not expect that the conditions would be met by the black thing. Chujiu tried hard to suppress her excitement. She did not even eat a single mouthful of the roasted meat. She took out a bunch of other things from her storage ring and fed them to the fire spirit beast. Then, she anxiously asked them to bring her to see the primordial tree. When they arrived at the earth and fire cave, Chujiu muttered, "Wouldn't it be a pity if all the earth and fire was extinguished? I didn't expect the fire spirit beasts to tell me that they could make the extinguished earth and fire, and then rekindle it." Chujiu clicked her tongue in wonder. No wonder the fire spirit beasts were called exotic beasts. There was indeed something unusual about them. After the 4 big fire spirit beasts extinguished the earth and fire, the 4 of them entered the depths of the earth and fire cave. As expected, they found a fiery red sapling in a corner. Not only were the leaves fiery red, but even the stem was also fiery red. The leaves flickered with a ruby-like luster. At a glance, it was obvious that it was not an ordinary spiritual plant. Chujiu jumped with joy. No matter how she looked at it, things had worked out in her favor. When she thought of the fresh and sweet taste of the primordial fruit, she almost drooled. However, Ming frowned and said, "Little Jiu, don't you need the primordial fruit to refine the universal essence cleansing pill? Even if you have this primordial tree, it's useless." Chujiu said with a smile, "Hehe, my Prince Charming, I have a secret weapon. Watch carefully." Ming was puzzled. Secret weapon? No matter what secret weapon you have, this little sapling can't possibly bear any primordial fruit, right? It was said that the primordial tree would bloom once every 1,000 years, bear fruit once every 1,000 years, ripen once every 1,000 years. That's a total of 3,000 years worth of waiting. Would be nothing but bones in the ground by then. And Feng and Anin shook their heads secretly. Although Miss Jiu was always able to do things that surprised us, she was probably in over her head this time. While she was extremely capable, it was also impossible for the young sapling to bear any primordial fruit at that time. Chujiu first activated the isolation array to prevent any spiritual energy from leaking out. Once such a spiritual fruit has matured, it would definitely emit a strange fragrance. It was better to not cause any unnecessary problems. After Chujiu was ready, then, she used her spiritual sense to say to the strange grass in a pleading manner, "Strange grass, it's time for you to show off your skills. Give Master a few drops of the juice that can accelerate the growth of medicinal herbs. Don't worry, Master will not take it for free. Once the Universal Essence Cleansing Pill is refined, I will feed one to you as a reward." Chapter 930. Ripening of flowers and fruits. After weighing the pros and cons, the strange grass painfully condensed a few drops of crystal-clear liquid from its leaves. Chujiu opened her palm, and the liquid fell onto her hand. She carefully dripped the liquid onto the small sapling of the primordial tree. Then, what happened next was that Feng would never forget throughout his entire life. The sapling of the primordial tree actually grew thicker and taller at a speed visible to the naked eye. Then 5 snow-white flowers bloomed. Under the contrast of the fiery red leaves and branches, the 5 snow-white flowers grew even whiter. After another hour, the flowers gradually withered, and in their place was fruit. However, the fruit stopped growing when it grew to the size of a fingernail. Chujiu touched her chin, probably because the few drops of liquid had been used up. She could only ask the strange grass for a few more drops of liquid, and after the drops fell on the tree, the primordial fruit continued to grow. After a while, a strange fragrance filled the entire cave. The primordial fruit had matured. The strange grass pitifully took credit for the primordial fruit's explosive growth despite the cost to its own vitality. It had already managed to grow 6 leaves, yet now, 3 of the leaves had wilted. Chujiu comforted it. She could not wait to put the 5 primordial fruits into the jade chest. Ming and the other 2 were dumbfounded. They had never dreamed that what just happened in front of them was possible. That was a primordial fruit tree. How could a few drops of liquid speed up the process of blooming and bearing fruit that took thousands of years in just 4 hours? This was too unbelievable. Prince Charming, do you think this primordial fruit tree can only grow in the homes of the fire spirit beast? Chujiu blinked her eyes. She felt that 5 fruits were too little. They were not enough to even fill the gaps between her teeth. Because the primordial tree is very rare, there are very few records about it. Since this primordial tree grew in this earthen fire hole, I'm afraid that it needs high temperatures to grow. You'd better not move it. Ming came back to his senses and replied, I'm not moving this primordial tree. I'm planning to plant a few more. When that time comes, I can eat primordial fruit every day. Chujiu swallowed her saliva and said, the strange grass in her dantian almost twitched. You heartless woman. Eat it every day. It almost took my life just growing one. I still need time to recover, and you're now talking about eating it every day. Are you trying to kill me? The corner of Ming's eyes twitched. Little Jiu, although I don't know how you did it, I'm afraid this method can't be used too often, right? Chujiu giggled. I'm talking about the future. If the worst comes to worst, I'll just wait for 3,000 years. A freak like me will probably live for millions of years, right? And Feng staggered. Miss Jiu was really daring. Millions of years? Do you think you're a god? Besides, gods had long been extinct. There was no such possibility. Chujiu left a lot of food for the fire spirit beasts before exiting the earthen fire cave. When they stepped out, the earthen fire of the earthen fire cave started burning again. Chujiu hurried back to her small courtyard. After deactivating the isolation array, she took out the Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace to refine the Universal Essence Cleansing Pill. It had to be said that Chujiu accidentally left out an important item in her handbook. The Universal Essence Cleansing Pill's grade was too high, so she used an ordinary alchemy furnace. It would definitely explode. Chujiu was about to begin, but after thinking about it, she still hesitated. To refine such a high-end pill, it would not be good to use regular flintstones. She needed to use the earthen fire. Hence, she hurriedly ran outside the earthen fire cave and called the number 1 and number 2 fire spirit beasts over. After she got them to produce some earthen fire, she started to refine the pill. Chapter 931. Even the Wu Yun flirted with her. Chujiu started to refine the Universal Essence Cleansing Pill according to the manual. Ming and Feng and An were all worried for her. Although the Universal Essence Cleansing Pill did not specify what grade it was, it used the primordial fruit, which meant it was probably at least grade 12 and above. Chujiu was only at the 8th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. That meant her skills were not enough to refine something at grade 12. She only hoped that her lightning spiritual power and the tool spirit of the Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace could make up for it. Chujiu was not very confident. However, she was bold enough to still try. In addition, there were 5 primordial fruits in the storage ring, so she had a chance to start over. She would not let go of the chance to refine it. With the first batch, Chujiu did not dare to change anything. She strictly followed the process described in the pill formula. An hour later, Chujiu was done. Everyone's heart sank. There was no fragrance spreading out. It was probably a failure. Chujiu gritted her teeth and opened the lid of the Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace. 6 pills were lay inside. There were no patterns on the pills, and no one could tell what grade they were. Chujiu took out one, chewed it, and swallowed it. And Feng cursed in his heart. In this world, only Miss Jiu dared to stuff anything into her mouth. Anyway, she could not be poisoned to death. He just did not know if this pill was considered a success. After Chujiu finished eating, she did not feel any side effects. Instead, she felt much better. It was fine as long as there were no side effects. Chujiu put away the remaining 5 pills and continued to refine the second batch. When the second batch was refined, Chujiu was not as conservative. Following the increase and decrease of the tool spirit's mood in her divine sense, she increased and decreased the medicinal herbs. After nearly an hour, the small courtyard was filled with a medicinal fragrance. And Feng took a few deep breaths. Just the smell of this fragrance was enough to make people excited. It was indescribably comfortable. This time it was a success. The 9th miss was a god. If there was an extra pill, he would also try to get one. Although he was over the age limit, he was still a pure young man. Perhaps it would still have an effect even if he ate it. After Chujiu opened the Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace, an even stronger medicinal fragrance spread out. Everyone looked inside, and saw 10 pills with golden patterns lying at the bottom of the furnace. Those were the coveted heaven-grade Universal Essence Cleansing pills. Chujiu smiled so happily that her eyelashes bloomed. 1 pill was enough for 1 person, and now I have 10. It was better for me to keep the remaining 3 primordial fruits. Perhaps I would need them in the future. Just when Chujiu was happy, she saw a dark cloud floating in the sky. It must be the heavens coming to check out the source of the medicinal fragrance. Chujiu was afraid that it would destroy her yard, so she ran to the back of the mountain in a hurry. She ran to the back of the mountain and looked up. She grinned. The Wu Yun who came this time was an old acquaintance. It was the dark cloud that helped her to destroy the fake League Master of the League of Assassins. Little Wu Yun, long time no see. Chujiu stretched out her hands and greeted the Wu Yun. And Feng noticed that the piece of Wu Yun had turned light pink. It was actually blushing. Damn. Why are you blushing? Miss Jiu, that's enough. You even flirt with clouds. Little Wu Yun, you're here to strike me with lightning, right? Come on, just do it. I can replenish some of my spiritual power. Chujiu took out a handkerchief to wrap her hair, and said with a smile. When the Wu Yun in the sky heard Chujiu's words, they struck Chujiu for a while. Those heavenly lightning bolts felt like raindrops to Chujiu. Did she grow too powerful? Chapter 932. Reuse Recycle. Wu Yun was almost done, so it stopped. Little Wu Yun, you did well. If only all the Wu Yun were as outstanding as you. See you later. Chujiu waved her hands at the Wu Yun in the sky. The Wu Yun in the sky turned a pale pink again, and bobbed away. And Feng was speechless. Could it be that in the future, the 9th Miss would not only take in spirit beasts but also that Wu Yun? Chujiu hopped back to the courtyard and counted with her fingers. The Yin siblings, Qing Si, and Feng Ming made a total of 9 people. If she gave one more to the strange grass, it would be exactly 10 pieces. And Feng heard Chujiu mumbling, and he was extremely disappointed. There was none left for him at all. As expected, older people were discriminated against. And Feng did not expect that Chujiu would put the 5 pills from the first batch, and some spirit medicinal liquid, that could not be refined into pills into the Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace again. Miss Jiu, what are you doing? Chujiu giggled. Refining it. I'm trying to see if I can salvage it. If I can give 1 each to Prince Charming, you and Anine. And Feng felt that Chujiu was very loyal, but he was not sure. He had never heard that a failed pill could be refined again. Was this a reliable way to do it? Ming and Anine also felt that it was hopeless. Anyway, they had already succeeded in refining 1 batch. If she was willing to experiment around with the initial failed one, so be it. Chujiu was not confident. Her thoughts were the same as Ming and the others. Anyway, it was a waste not to try. Even if she failed, it would not be a pity. She first dissolved the 5 pills into a medicinal liquid, then took out a pen and paper to write down some notes. Then she began to refine. Chujiu added the medicinal herbs according to the calculated amount. The refining process was much slower than before. 2 hours later, the courtyard began to emit a medicinal fragrance. It was actually even stronger than the previous time. Ming and the other 2 were dumbfounded. Could it be that it worked? After Chujiu finished refining, she nervously opened the Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace's lid. Immediately, a refreshing medicinal fragrance jumped into everyone's nostrils. Just by smelling this smell, it could be determined that the quality of the pills must be better than the previous ones. The 3 of them quickly went to the side of the furnace and looked inside. They saw 9 round pills lying at the bottom of the furnace. The golden patterns on them were even more eye-catching than the previous 10 pills. Miss Jiu, something's wrong. Didn't you put 5 pills in? Why are there now 9 pills? And Feng exclaimed. It's very simple. Didn't I add more herbs into it? According to the law of conservation of mass, it should have resulted in a few more pills. Chujiu regretted eating 1 just now. That way there would be 10 pills. Chujiu took out 1, looked at it, then smelled it. It should be fine, right? She threw the pill in his hand into her mouth. Before she could eat it, it was snatched away by the strange grass. The strange grass was greedy and clamored to eat it. Chujiu had the principle that if she wanted a cow to work, she had to feed it accordingly. Her heart ached as she fed the strange grass another pill. After the strange grass finished eating it, it clamored for more. Chujiu rolled her eyes and said, "Don't worry. I'll leave 2 pills for you. I'll feed them to you when if perform well in the future." When the strange grass heard Chujiu say this, it could only reluctantly agree. Chujiu was still worried about the medicinal efficacy of the pill. She was afraid that there was poison in it, so after warning the strange grass, she swallowed one herself. After eating it, she only felt that her body had become much lighter. There was no poison or strange side effects, so she felt relieved. Chapter 933. Prince Charming was causing trouble. Chujiu gave one of the pills that she refined to Ming. Prince Charming, although the purity of your spirit root should have already reached 9 stars, it's not bad to further nourish it. Ming nodded, took the pill, and threw it into his mouth. "Little madman, come here, this is yours. This is an Ean's." Chujiu took out 2 more universal essence cleansing pills, and handed them to Feng and Ean. Feng and Ean also swallowed the pills. After the 3 of them swallowed the pills, they did not feel any reaction. They thought to themselves, could it be that these pills were just placebos? Why was there no reaction at all? A quarter of an hour later, Feng let out a strange cry and rushed to the toilet. Immediately after, Ean also rushed in with a stiff expression. Chujiu was done for. Did she turn the universal essence cleansing pill into a laxative? Chujiu looked at Ming and asked timidly, "Prince Charming, are you alright?" Ming frowned. "My body feels a little greasy. I want to take a bath, don't come in." "Prince Charming, it's fine if I don't go in, but do you have a bathtub in your storage ring? Do you have any bathwater?" Chujiu pouted. She sounded like a pervert. It's not like she wants to peek. Ming's face stiffened. "No. Then it's settled. I have to go in and prepare it for you. Don't worry, I won't do anything to you in broad daylight." Chujiu said slyly. Her tone was like that of a ruffian who was teasing a good woman. Ming raised his eyebrows. "Little Jiu, I advise you not to act rashly. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that I'll wait for you to grow up." "Humph. Who are you trying to scare? When the time comes, we might not even be able to settle the matter between us." Although Chujiu was already terrified in her heart, she did not want to lose. She went into the house dejectedly to prepare the bathwater. Ming curled his lips and followed her into the house. Chujiu was like a hard-working little bee. She helped Ming prepare the bathwater, and then left the house dejectedly. This fellow sat on the stone chair and pondered. It was probably due to the different amounts of impurities in his body that his reaction was different. The gigolo's spirit root was very high, so the impurities could be excreted through sweat. On the other hand, Feng and Ean had too many impurities. That was why his reaction was so big. Therefore, the universal essence cleansing pill that she refined should be effective. Feng and Ean only returned after a full 2 hours. Although their faces were slightly pale, they were very excited. "Miss Jiu, I feel that the speed at which I absorb spiritual qi has become much faster. This pill of yours can indeed increase the level of my spirit root," Feng said excitedly. Ean was not good with words. She just bowed to Chujiu and said, "Thank you, Miss Jiu." Chujiu waved her hand and said, "We are all family. There's no need to thank us. However, my idol has been washing for 2 hours. Why isn't he coming out?" "My idol? My idol? Why aren't you done washing? Do you need me to go in and help? The water is already cold, right? Shall I go in and add some hot water for you?" Chujiu rolled her eyes and shouted with ill intentions. Ming's deep voice came from inside the room. "No need." However, after waiting for a while, Ming still did not come out. Chujiu blinked her eyes. Something was wrong. The gigolo must be causing trouble. "Prince Charming, if you don't come out now, I will rush in." Chapter 934. The pretty boy became even more handsome just as Chujiu finished her sentence. The door opened and Ming walked out. Yin Chujia's mouth dropped and her face was filled with shock. Damn! Why was the pretty boy even more handsome than before? Damn! His skin was almost as smooth as hers. How did things turn out so well? His facial features were as sharp as a knife, his eyebrows were as black as ink, and his eyes were like cold stars. His lips were tightly pursed, and he exuded an aura of abstinence and lust. Yin Chujiu felt that her little heart was about to jump out. Damn, she was about to faint. Ming was a little uncomfortable. He felt that it was too unmanly for a man to have such good skin. It was still better to have his original skin color, which was why he did not come out for a long time. However, when he saw Yin Chujiu's infatuated gaze, a trace of pride rose in his heart. Maybe he would not go to the Crimson Flame Island to get a tan for the time being. Originally, he wanted to go there to get a tan a little since he liked dark things. Yin Chujiu's little face was flushed red as she walked up to Ming. Prince Charming, you're so handsome. I'm going to be charmed to death by you. Ming was very proud when he saw Yin Chujiu's shy little appearance. However, if he knew what she was thinking, he would probably strangle her to death. This fellow Yin Chujiu felt that she had profited handsomely. This feeling was as if she had just changed boyfriends. And Feng and Anin looked at each other. Deep sorrow flashed through their hearts. Did they take the same kind of pill? Not only did His Excellency not run to the toilet, he had become even more handsome, but they still looked the same. Yin Chujiu diligently massaged Ming's shoulders and poured him tea. She was extremely virtuous, and her small eyes were filled with admiration. Ming felt as if he had drifted to the clouds. Ming enjoyed this kind of treatment, so he turned a blind eye to the pervert Yin Chujiu who took advantage of him from time to time. And Feng and Anin felt like rejects. The two of them hid in a corner, and were secretly sad. Yin Chujiu flirted with Ming for a while before she remembered what she originally set out to do. She eagerly took the fresh batch of Universal Essence cleansing pills, and went to find the Yin siblings. When Yin Chuzi and the others saw the pill that Yin Chujiu proudly took out, they could not help but think of the demonic beasts that had eaten Yin Chujiu's pill. Some of them had 3 eyes, some had 2 tails, and some even had all their hair fallen off. They immediately shook their heads like rattle drums. They would not eat this pill even if they were beaten to death. Yin Chujiu was anxious when she saw their reluctance. How could the pill that she had spent so much effort to refine not work? They had to eat it. Thus, she used her spiritual power that was much higher than theirs to forcefully stuff the pills into the Yin siblings' mouths. The Yin siblings were very anxious, and wanted to spit out the pill. However, Yin Chujiu just sat there and stared at them, so they could only forcefully endure it. After a quarter of an hour, the 6 people's stomachs began to hurt. Only then did Yin Chujiu show her kindness, and let them off. The 6 people immediately rushed to the latrine. The 6 of them only had one thought in their hearts. What was little Jiu doing? Was she crazy? Sob. Could it be that they had also started transforming into monsters? When the 6 of them came out of the latrine, Yin Chujiu had already gone elsewhere. She was currently interrogating Feng Ming, and the other 2 with a serious expression. 3 senior brothers, I have here 3 top-notch rare pills. After you take them, your spiritual power level will increase in the blink of an eye. However, you must first tell me, have your fruits been peeled yet? Chapter 935. Does not have any side effects peeled fruit? What did that mean? Feng Ming and the other 2 did not react at first and looked at Yin Chujiu in confusion. Yin Chujiu coughed dryly. What I meant was that you guys haven't had sex with anyone, right? Sex. The 3 of them still did not quite understand what Yin Chujiu meant. Yin Chujiu gritted her teeth. What I meant was that you guys haven't had sex with a woman yet, right? Had sex? Although the 3 of them had never heard of such a thing, they could roughly guess it. The 3 innocent young men's faces immediately flushed red. Junior sister Xiaojiu, why are you asking this question? My pill is a bit special. It's only effective for those who have never done it yet. Have the 3 of you ever had sex? The 3 of them shook their heads repeatedly. However, they were just as opposed to the pill in Yin Chujiu's hand as the Yin siblings. It was because they remembered those demonic beasts that had been tortured by Yin Chujiu. That hairless bear had yet to regrow its hair. Humph! When have I ever cheated you? I'll ask you again. Are you going to eat it or not? If you don't, I'll give it to someone else. After saying that, Chujiu acted as if she was going to leave. The three of them smelled the rich medicinal fragrance and thought about the alluring effect that Chujiu said. They gritted their teeth and said, "Well, take it." That's right. This spirit medicine was refined by me with some difficulty. As long as you eat it, your spiritual power will rise. When that time comes, I'll wait for you guys. Then, we can ascend together. Think about how wonderful that is. All of you are the youngest to ascend apart from me. How awesome is that? Chujiu handed the medicinal pill to the three of them and said with a smile. When the three of them heard Chujiu's words, they swallowed the medicinal pill without hesitation. Ming thought for a moment and asked, "Junior sister little Jiu, there aren't any side effects from this medicinal pill, right?" Chujiu blinked her eyes. Side effects? Will the medicinal pill I refined have any side effects? Don't worry, there aren't any side effects at all. Just wait for your spiritual power to soar. Well, I will leave first and wait for the good news. After saying that, Chujiu hummed a song and hopped away. Ming and the other two looked at each other. Why did they feel that junior sister little Jiu seemed somewhat smug before she left? She was not teasing them, right? The three of them could not help but think of those mutated demonic beasts that were tortured by Chujiu. 2 hours later, the three of them clenched their stomachs and rushed into the toilet. Fuck. They knew that junior sister little Jiu must have hidden something from them. Was this a cleansing pill or a laxative? However, when they came out of the latrine with pale faces, they felt that their bodies were incomparably lighter. Their perception of things was also much more sensitive than before. Most importantly, they felt that the speed of absorbing spiritual power was much faster than before. Junior sister little Jiu's pill must have helped us remove the impurities in our bodies. In other words, our spiritual root level has increased, Gengyi said excitedly. Although junior sister little Jiu has a temperamental personality, she is still reliable in big matters. We can't let her down. Hurry up and cultivate. We'll strive to reach the Tianyuan continent with her. Shixian nodded and said. However, Shixian's heart was somewhat worried about Chujiu. Her spiritual power level was a little low, and she was afraid that she would not be able to ascend together with him. However, junior sister little Jiu would think of a way to help her. It would be good for him to go to the Tianyuan continent to check things out first. When she ascends, he would make things smoother for her. Chapter 936. Big Red Packet. After Chujiu distributed all the pills, she hopped back to her dormitory. Prince Charming, you'd better tell your master about those cleansing pills. It's best if there are no restrictions. Give a few to my grandfather and uncle, so that they can become stronger. Ming nodded and took out a voice transmission talisman to send a message to his master. However, he could not send any messages. It was likely that the old man was in seclusion or traveling again. I could not send a message. I will try again another day. Don't worry, I will definitely follow up on this matter. And Prince Charming, I don't need to worry about you. The person I trust the most is you. Chujiu was like an infatuated girl. As she looked at the newly made beautiful man in front of her, and her eyes were filled with little hearts. Ming coughed a few times unnaturally, but in his heart, he was quite proud. It did not matter if the cat was black or white. A cat that could catch a mouse was already a good cat. As long as little Jiu liked him, it was good enough. Chujiu looked at Ming, whose ears were slightly red, and her heart itched. Her claws subconsciously touched Ming's face. Damn, it was so slippery. Just as Chujiu wanted to touch him again, a shout came from the sky. Little trash! Stop! Chujiu silently rolled her eyes. The old witch was here. As expected, the palace mistress was here. However, this time, she listened to Ming's suggestion, and did not take the luxurious flying spirit tool. Instead, she took a very ordinary-looking flying spirit tool. The palace mistress heard Ming say that Chujiu was already at the 8th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. She did not believe it at all, and felt that Ming was lying to her. However, she was still uncertain, and decided to come to find out for herself. Greetings, Palace Mistress. Long time no see. I miss you so much. I can dream of you every day. In my dreams, you cared for me in every way. This little heart of mine is so touched. Chujiu said with a touched expression. The Palace Mistress snorted coldly, but she was very surprised in her heart. How did this little trash become more and more beautiful? He was almost on par with the few ladies that she had high hopes for. It must be that little brat Ming who had asked his master for some beautiful medicinal pills. The Palace Mistress looked at Chujiu's spiritual power again. This little brat Ming was indeed lying to her. This lasts only at the first level of the spiritual emperor realm. When Chujiu went to the Sea of Stars, she had adjusted her spiritual power to the first level of the spiritual emperor realm. She did not even think about changing it when she returned. Therefore, the Palace Mistress only saw Chujiu at the first level of the spiritual emperor realm. As the Palace Mistress had already experienced Chujiu's sharp tongue, she kept a cold face throughout the whole process. Other than a cold snort, she ignored her. Instead, she was stunned by Ming's appearance. Ming, how did your skin become so good? Has your master developed a new beauty pill? Hurry up and give me a few. The Palace Mistress said anxiously. Women were always very concerned about their appearance, and the Palace Mistress was no exception. Mother, what beauty pill are you talking about? I only took the Universal Essence cleansing pill that little Joe refined for me to turn out like this. Ming explained. Who are you trying to kid? That little trash can even refine pills. You little bastard. Did your master only give you 2 pills? So you took one and gave that little trash the other? As expected. You have forgotten your mother when you had a wife. The Palace Mistress sighed in anger. Chujiu blinked her eyes. Thank you for acknowledging my identity, mother. Although it's a little early to call me his wife before we get married, I don't mind. However, shouldn't you give me a big red packet instead? Chapter 937. The Palace Mistress wanted nothing more than to slap Chujiu to death. She slapped the stone table instead and said, Nonsense. When did I admit that you were his wife? Mother, didn't you just say it? You just said that Brother Ming had a wife and forgot about her mother. Chujiu looked at the crack on the stone table and curled her lips. What a prodigal woman, slapping the table for fun whenever she had nothing to do. I was just using a metaphor. Do you understand what a metaphor is? You can't even understand basic languages, what a waste. The Palace Mistress said angrily. Chujiu was not angry and continued to smile. Oh, so it was a metaphor. I thought you had accepted things. After all, I am about to meet the condition that you proposed earlier. The Palace Mistress sneered. You're about to complete it? You are only at the first level of the spiritual emperor realm. How can you meet my condition? You are overestimating yourself. First level of the spiritual emperor realm? Chujiu suddenly remembered that she did revert to her usual spiritual power level. Her eyes rolled and evil thoughts appeared again, therefore she said, Palace Mistress, you may not know this, but my cultivation method is a little special. As long as I want, I can raise the first level of the spiritual emperor realm to the 8th level of the spiritual emperor realm. The Palace Mistress was so angry that she laughed. Little trash, do you think I am a 3-year-old child? Aren't you afraid that you will hurt your tongue if you boast too much? Sigh. Why don't you believe me, Palace Mistress? How about this, the two of us can make a bet. If I can raise my spiritual power to the 8th layer of the spiritual emperor realm within 15 minutes, you can pay the revised fee of 100,000 high-grade spirit stones. If I can't do it, I'll return you the 100,000 high-grade spirit stones that you gave me last time. Chujiu said with a slightly provocative look. The Palace Mistress glared at Chujiu. Who do you think you are? You're really thick-skinned. Chujiu blinked her eyes innocently. Palace Mistress, if not the mother and son, then are we sisters? It can't be the grandfather and grandson, right? The Palace Mistress was so angry that her head hurt a little. She felt that she was asking for trouble by talking with this little trash. Palace Mistress, are we still going to have this bet? If you don't have confidence in yourself, It's fine if you don't want to fight. After all, I don't care. Humph. I don't have confidence. If you want to make a bet, then let's make a bet. However, it's just a simple bet. Don't flatter yourself. The palace mistress said disdainfully. This little trash is too infuriating. I had already thought about it when I came here. I only came to take a look. I'm not going to lower myself to her level. However, she needs to be taught a lesson. Let's just gamble. It's also 100,000 high-grade spirit stones. Palace mistress, are you sure you have that kind of money with you? Don't tell me that you don't have money when you eventually lose. Chujiu secretly curled her lips. Do you think that I'm willing to call you mother? Pooey. If it wasn't for the sake of Prince Charming, I would have angered you to death. Palace mistress snorted coldly. As expected, you're from a small family. 100,000 high-grade spirit stones is just small change to me. Naturally, I won't blame you. However, the person who loses will be you. Just don't act so shamelessly. Ming stood at the side and looked up at the sky with an expressionless face. My God. It's not that your son is not on your side. You just jumped into the pit yourself. I've already told you that little 9 is at the 8th layer of the spiritual emperor realm. Why don't you believe me? You have all the spirit stones in our family. If you lose a little, so be it. After all, we're all family. Feng and Yin silently gave a wave of sympathy to the palace mistress. Your spirit stones are forfeit. You always say that you're here to pick a fight, but why are you always making things easy for the 9th miss? Chapter 938. Must be separated. Seeing the strange expressions on the three of them, the palace mistress felt a little suspicious in her heart. Could it be that she had been tricked by this little trash again? No. Her spiritual power level was much higher than this little girl. How could she not even be able to tell her true spiritual power level? She must be thinking too much. Chujiu glanced at the palace mistress with a smile, but she was not in a hurry to adjust her spiritual power level. Instead, she said, Palace mistress, it's still not too late for you to go back on your words now. Why don't we just forget about this bet? You are a guest here, so I'd be sorry for making you spend so much money. Moreover, 100,000 high-grade spirit stones is no small amount. Before Chujiu could finish her words, she was interrupted by the palace mistress. Cut the crap. I've said it before, and I will never go back on my words. Are you stalling for time? If you can't do it, then just admit defeat. Chujiu spread her hands. All right, since you insist, then I will start. Watch carefully. It's time to witness a miracle. The palace mistress curled her lips and acted haughtily. I will enjoy watching you cry if you can't ascend. Chujiu had the intention to tease the palace mistress. She played around and then pretended to be discouraged. Why hasn't it changed? It's over, it's over. Am I going to lose? The palace mistress raised her eyebrows and curled her lips. I told you. How could this little girl reach the 8th level of the spiritual emperor realm in less than a year? As expected, Ming was lying to her. However, it was not bad to get the 100,000 high-grade spirit stones back. She was completely cheated by the little girl back then. The palace mistress' prideful look did not last long. She saw Chujiu's spiritual power rise until she reached the 8th level of the spiritual emperor realm. Chujiu giggled. Palace mistress, give me the spirit stones. I'm so sorry. You always give me something every time I come here. It's so rare to have such a generous mother-in-law like you. I'm so lucky to have met a mother-in-law like you. The palace mistress was shocked. She rubbed her eyes. This little piece of trash rose to the 8th level of the spiritual emperor realm in just a few months. The talent of one with the heavenly thunder root spirit was indeed monstrous. However, this strengthened her determination to separate Chujiu and Ming. Such a monstrous talent would not be tolerated by Tian Dao. Sooner or later, she would be wiped out by the Tian Dao. Moreover, it would also implicate Ming. She was not suitable for Ming at all. You are looking at the sky from the bottom of a well. I admit that your cultivation speed is not bad, but your starting point is far inferior to other children of the same age in the Tianyuan continent. With your talent, You are not even qualified to be admitted into Tianxian Academy, let alone the top 100 of the roll of prodigies," said the palace mistress with disdain as she passed the spirit stones to Chujiu. "Palace mistress, I have always believed in a saying, that is, don't bully the young and poor. Just because I am weak now does not mean that I will always be weak. Just because I have a low starting point does not mean that I will lose. Where there is a will, there is a way. Isn't it just the top 100 of roll of prodigies? Let's wait and see." Chujiu's small figure was rigid as she spoke with a firm tone. The palace mistress was momentarily stunned. She had to admit that this little trash still had some redeeming qualities. This fearlessness was somewhat similar to when she was young. If her family background was better, if she didn't have the heavenly thunder spirit root that the Tian Dao forbade, she would have been able to make do. Unfortunately, this condition would burden Ming. No matter what, she had to separate the two of them. Chapter 939. I feel a little bad. The palace mistress regained her senses and said coldly, "Anyone can boast. Let's not talk about anything else. Ascending requires the test of 9 heavenly lightning bolts. I'm afraid that you won't be able to stand all 9. Let's talk about it after you pass this test." The palace mistress realized that after she said that, Ming and the other 2 bodyguards had strange expressions on their faces. She frowned slightly. What was going on? She was right. Why did they have such expressions? And Feng thought to himself, "My lady, you seem to have misunderstood the situation of Tianlei and 9th Mississippi. When the time comes, the one who will be sad will probably not be the 9th Miss but Tianlei, okay? Don't mention 9 bolts of heavenly lightning, even 9,000, or 90,900 bolts would not be able to do anything to this little devil. The one who would run away, in the end, would definitely be Tianlei, okay?" The palace mistress did not know the inside story, and misunderstood that they were worried about Chujiu. She said coldly, "If you can't even withstand the heavenly lightning tribulation, then you don't have the qualifications to ascend. Just give up." Chujiu looked like she was in tears of gratitude. "Palace mistress, I did not expect you to think so much for me. You even thought about my trials and tribulations. No wonder Brother Ming told me that you are the kindest and most magnanimous person. You have always been sharp-tongued, but in fact, you are extremely soft-hearted. You say that you don't like me, but in your heart, you have always been thinking about me. I didn't believe it at first, but now I believe it." The palace mistress was choked by Chujiu's words. If she said that she was not worried about her, then that would be unkind? But to say that she was worried about her? Tui. She wished that this little trash would not succeed in her trial. She could not say something that went against her heart. Ming felt that his mother was no match for Chujiu, so he could only attempt to smooth things over. "Mother, you haven't had dinner yet, right? Let's have dinner first." The palace mistress snorted coldly. "I have no appetite. Come back with me. Your father has come out of closed-door cultivation. I have something to talk to you about." Ming frowned. Just as he hesitated, Chujiu said with a smile, "Brother Ming, since uncle is looking for you, then you should go back with the palace mistress. Don't worry, I will cultivate well and strive to enter the Tianyuan Academy as soon as possible." The palace lord's wife snorted coldly. This little trash had good judgment, but it was a pity that her background was too low. She would not be able to cause any trouble again once Ming is taken away. "Palace mistress, if you have time, come and take a stroll. Next time, you don't have to prepare such a big red packet for me. Every time you visit, you give me such a large amount. I feel a little bad in my heart," Chujiu said with a smile. The palace mistress wished that she could slap this little devil to death. She endured it and squeezed out several words from between her teeth. "Take care of yourself. Ming, let's go." Chujiu waved her little handkerchief to send Ming and the palace mistress off. She then began to indulge in her own little days once again. To maintain the same progress as Feng Ming and the other 2, she deliberately slowed down her cultivation speed. It was not bad to consolidate her foundation. After showing off for a few days, she finally remembered her initial goal and decided to pay a visit to Chujiu. and the others to see how the effects of the universal essence cleansing pill were. Before Chujiu went to look for them, the Yin siblings came to look for Chujiu excitedly. Little Jiu, your pills are amazing. In less than half a month, I've advanced 2 levels. Chuki said excitedly. Chula grinned and shouted. Me too. Little Jiu, I wronged you back then. I thought the pills you refined were unreliable. I didn't expect them to be so awesome. Chapter 940. The decision of Feng Ming and the other 2. Chujiu said smugly. When have I ever let you guys down? However, don't level up too quickly. Stabilize yourselves before you break through. Chuzi and the others nodded repeatedly. The gratitude in their hearts could not be described with words. They had thought that they could only stay in the small Yi city for the rest of their lives. They did not expect that there was a chance for them to ascend now. It was something that they did not even dare to dream about in the past, and all of this was because of little Jiu. Qingxi wanted to say something, but she hesitated. The gratitude in her heart towards Chujiu did not need to be expressed. However, her background was special. After thinking for a while, she swallowed the words that were about to come out of her mouth. Chujiu saw Qingxi's expression, and did not ask any further. Everyone had their own private matters. As long as they knew that she did not have any ill intentions, it was fine as long as she was willing to show it. It did not matter even if she did not say anything. The next day, Feng Ming and the other 2 also found Chujiu. They were so excited that they were about to go crazy. Although they felt that the speed of their spiritual power absorption had increased after taking the medicine, they did not expect it to be so fast. It was truly shocking. Chujiu did not reveal an excited expression when she heard the words of the 3 of them. She said with a serious expression, Senior brothers, I've thought about it these few days. My previous actions were too reckless. I didn't consider it thoroughly enough. Although you can advance very quickly after taking the pills, your foundation isn't solid. Even if it's a heavenly tribulation, it'll help you to endure it. When you reach the Tianyuan continent, you'll need at least a year to consolidate your foundation. You can't continue to break through. When that time comes, you'll have to endure a period of being despised and criticized by others. Are you mentally prepared? If you feel that you can't bear it, you can slow down your cultivation speed. I will fly to the Tianyuan continent alone first. These days, Chujiu had been reflecting on this kind of act of pulling out seedlings to encourage growth. She felt that she was a little selfish, so she had to let everyone know Feng Ming and the other 2 were stunned. These days, they were immersed in the joy of their soaring spiritual power, and did not think too much about it. Now that they heard what Chujiu had to say, they began to consider it carefully. The 3 of them were like dragons and phoenixes among men. With a little thought, they understood the hidden meaning behind Chujiu's words. Although Chujiu helped them as fellow disciples, it was also to her benefit. If they took the other party's benefits and then retreated, it would be too disloyal. Moreover, the tempering of one's temperament was also a part of cultivation. So what if they were to be despised and criticized? Junior sister little Jiu suffered a lot more than them back then. If she could even endure it as a little girl, so could they. Junior sister little Jiu, we understand your meaning. We have decided to ascend to the Tianyuan continent with you. The cultivation of the 3 of us can be said to have been very smooth. We have always been outstanding. It just so happens that we have lost some of the temperings of our temperament. It's not bad to suffer some hardships when we arrive at the Tianyuan continent. Feng Ming said seriously. Seeing that the 3 of them did not seem to be forced to speak, Chujiu nodded. Senior brothers, don't worry. Although we will be the weakest when we first arrive at the Tianyuan continent, in less than 5 years, I will definitely let you reach the top of the Tianyuan continent. If Chujiu said these words 3 years ago, Feng Ming and the other 2 would think that there was something wrong with her head. However, after spending 3 years together and personally witnessing Chujiu's monstrous growth, the 3 of them firmly believed in her words. Junior sister little Jiu would be able to do it. Chapter 941. Thunder Sect's medicine shop. Time flew by quickly. In the blink of an eye, more than half a year had passed. the spiritual power of Feng Ming, and the other two had soared. At that time, they had already reached the peak of the 8th level of the spiritual emperor realm. Chujiu thought that in less than a month, the 4 of them would be able to ascend. Some things should be arranged for the journey. Those days, Chujiu had been holed up in the courtyard as she refined a lot of medicinal pills. She decided to make a trip to Spirit Radiant City. First, she would meet her grandfather. Second, she would arrange a meeting with the members of the Thunder Sect. Chujiu first went to the Thunder Sect's medicine shop. There was a long queue outside the medicine shop. This was because Chujiu had asked Hai and the others to implement hunger marketing. Every day, they would only sell elixirs to the top 100 customers. Moreover, there was a limit to the number of each type of elixir. People behaved predictably. The more they could not buy something, the more they wanted to buy it. Moreover, the elixirs sold by the Thunder Sect's medicine shop were either high-grade or super-grade. After eating them, it cleansed their bodies completely. It was worth it to pay a little extra. When everyone saw Chujiu, they greeted her one after another. Chujiu's deeds had almost spread across the entire Azure Mystic continent. Everyone was extremely respectful towards her. However, they did not know that Chujiu was the owner of the Thunder Sect's medicine shop. They only thought that the Spirit Radiant Sect and the Thunder Sect's medicine shop had some dealings with each other. They thought to themselves, no wonder the Thunder Sect's medicine shop had so many high-grade elixirs. It turned out that they had connections with the Spirit Radiant Sect. After Chujiu entered the back hall of the medicine shop, Hai and the others hurriedly went forward to greet her. Chujiu waved her hand and took out a few large jars of medicinal pills. You guys keep these medicinal pills. When the time is ripe, you can open a few more branches. When Hai and the others saw the few large jars of medicinal pills on the ground, they were so scared that they almost collapsed to the ground. Oh my god, it was already scary enough when they saw the sect leader use a basin to hold medicinal pills. They did not expect that this time she would use a jar to hold medicinal pills. It was too strange. Now that the Thunder Sect medicinal shop's reputation has been established, all of you should also start recruiting some alchemists and sell some ordinary medicinal pills alongside the higher-end ones. This is to prevent any delays in replenishing the supply of medicinal pills after I ascend in the future. All of you can also maintain the business yourselves. Do you understand? Hai nodded his head in agreement. Sect Master, how much longer do you have before you ascend to the Tianyuan continent? About a month. When the Tianyuan Academy is on holiday, I will come back and deliver the medicinal pills to you. She was just that confident. She had never considered what would happen if she could not enter the Tianyuan Academy. After the business is on track, you can start establishing the sect. I have informed Master Xianyuan that if you have any problems in the future, you can seek help from the Spirit Radiant Sect. After Hai and the others nodded their heads in agreement, Chujiu gave some instructions before leaving the Thunder Sect's medicine shop and heading to the Yin residence. Grandfather! Grandfather! Little Jiu is here to see you. Did you miss me? Chujiu rushed into Yin Xiaoshan's study. Yin Xiaotian could not help but laugh when he saw Chujiu jumping into the room. You're already a big girl. Why are you still like a child? Although Yin Xiaotian was scolding her, his tone was full of warmth. Little Jiu had become the hero of Azure Mystic Continent from a lowlife that everyone despised. It made him feel incredibly proud. Grandfather, even if I grow to be 100 years old, I will still be a little girl in front of you. Hee, grandfather, the medicinal pills I gave you last time were not bad, right? I see that your spiritual power has increased a lot. Chujiu said with a smile. Yin Xiaotian smiled and nodded. Not bad. I originally thought that I would never be able to reach the level of a spirit cultivator in my life. I did not expect that after eating the medicine you gave me, I broke through. It seems that I have hope of achieving the level of a spirit cultivator. Chapter 942. The love that Chujiu wants. Grandfather, don't stop at spirit cultivator. You still have to ascend in the future. When the time comes, help me and the pretty boy take care of our child. Yin Chujiu's words reminded Yin Xiaotian. Little Jiu, grandfather wants to ask you what your plans are. In a few months, you will reach marriageable age. Are you considering getting engaged or getting married to that Ming child? Grandfather, although he treats me well and we are in love, the gap between the two of us is too big. Although he doesn't care about things like spiritual power or family background, many others don't think the same way. Therefore, I have to work hard to become strong enough to stand side by side with him. Silly child, since ancient times haven't men been strong and the women weak? Isn't he also living a good life? A girl like you is more or less good enough. Yin Xiaotian said this not because he looked down on Yin Chujiu. It was because he felt sorry for her. It was too hard for her to carry so much on her shoulders at such a young age. Grandfather, I want our love to be equal. I don't want to be any of us to be superior. I don't want to be dependent on others. The love I want is for two people to have the same vision and the same language. This kind of love will become stronger and stronger over time. It won't fade with the deterioration of my appearance, and there won't be groundless speculation because of my inferiority complex. Yin Xiaotian was stunned. Although he could not understand what Yin Chujiu was thinking, he knew that Yin Chujiu had her own ideas. He could only say, "All right, since you have your own plans, then do as you wish. No matter what you do, grandfather will support you." Yin Chujiu's heart warmed. Although the old man in front of her had no blood relationship with her, he had always been very kind to her. She would repay him well. Cough cough. Little Jiu, there was something that grandfather shouldn't have said. However, your mother wasn't around, so grandfather had no choice but to thicken his skin and tell you, before you marry that Ming child, don't do anything that you shouldn't do. If you marry him, you'll be his concubine. Don't let the Ming family find fault with you. Yin Chujiu nodded. She knew that Yin Xiaotian was doing this for her good. Not to mention anything else, with her current small body, she would not dare to do anything bad even if she wanted to. Yin Xiaotian only relaxed when he saw Yin Chujiu nod her head. Although Yin Chujiu had never told him about Ming's family matters, he had lived for so long and was very worldly. That child's family background was probably complicated. In the future, he might not agree to the marriage between the two. If they were separated at that time, if they did not take the final step yet, little Jiu would still be able to recover from it. The grandfather and granddaughter chatted for a long time. Yin Chujiu only returned to the Spirit Radiance sect after dinner. A month later, Yin Chujiu and Ming reached the peak of the 9th level of the Spirit Sovereign Realm at the same time. They were about to undergo the Tribulation and ascend. Almost all the influential people in the Azure Mystic continent had gathered in front of the Spirit Radiance sect's main gate. No one in the Azure Mystic continent had ascended for thousands of years. They did not expect that 4 people in the Spirit Radiance sect would do it at once. Moreover, they were all young people who had not even reached the age of 25. It was an enviable situation. Originally, Yin Chujiu had wanted the location of the Ascension to be at the back of the middle peak. However, seeing that there were so many people gathered to watch, she had no choice but to change the location to the empty space in front of the Spirit Radiance sect. This way, it would be convenient for everyone to watch the ceremony without any potential collateral damage. Ming and Shui Wuji also rushed over from the Tianyuan continent, afraid that Yin Chujiu would have some mishaps along the way. Ming and the other 2 were very anxious. To ascend, they needed to withstand 9 heavenly thunders. They were not confident in their hearts. This spiritual power had risen too quickly, and they were not yet in full control of it. This feeling was similar to the feeling that although they had money in their pockets, they still felt like they had borrowed it. Chapter 943. A unique way to pass the heavenly tribulation. Junior sister Little Jiu. How do you plan to help us resist the heavenly lightning during the trial? Ming asked in a low voice. Don't worry, I'm always dealing with heavenly lightning. If it's a familiar cloud, I'll just bribe it. If it's a newbie, I'll have a way to provoke them. They hate me to the bone now. As long as I flirt with them a little, they won't care about you. When the time comes, you'll just have to hide further away. However, you'll probably have to suffer 1 or 2 lightning strikes at the very least. Otherwise, you won't be able to fool them, understand? Ming and the other 2 nodded in agreement. Even so, They were still a little nervous as they waited anxiously for the arrival of the heavenly lightning. After a while, Wu Yin drifted over from afar. It was clear that one Wu Yin was assigned to each one of them. Feng, Ming, and the other two were dumbfounded. One Wu Yin per person. It would not be so easy for junior sister little Jiu to cheat after all. They would not be directly struck to death, right? Yin Chujiu glanced at the 4 Wu Yin in the sky. They were all young and new. Yin Chujiu placed her hands on her hips and started to provoke them. Hey, are you guys planning to split up and attack me? If you guys all attack together, it won't work. I advise you guys to split up and attack me together. Otherwise, there will be no effect on me at all. Unexpectedly, the 4 Wu Yin did not pay attention to Yin Chujiu. Instead, they obediently took their place above each person. With a rumble, purple lightning bolt struck Yin Chujiu and the other two. Yin Chujiu did not feel anything much, so she did not care. Although Feng, Ming, and the other two were not injured, they had consumed a lot of spiritual power enduring the attack, so she was worried. Yin Chujiu frowned. Something was not right. Why did these young Wu Yin not pay attention to her? It was extremely strange. What Yin Chujiu did not know was that when Yin Chujiu broke through to the 8th level of the spiritual emperor realm, those Wu Yin helped Yin Chujiu destroy the godly devil hall. When they went back, they were criticized, saying that they had harmed innocents, and a few of them were destroyed. When they appeared for the trial, they had especially been warned that they were not allowed to make a mistake. Yin Chujiu changed her tactics and cursed again. The second bolt of heavenly lightning still struck 4 people each. Feng, Ming, and the other two had to take another bolt of heavenly lightning. The 3 of them felt suffocated and almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Yin Chujiu frowned. This couldn't go on. Senior brother Feng, Ming, and the others could only withstand 5 bolts of lightning at most. Yin Chujiu rolled her eyes and had an idea. Yin Chujiu summoned the 3 silly munchkins and stuffed one each into Feng, Ming, and the other's hands. You 3 take a few hits for them. Little Black Bird did not care. Little Black Rat and Little Red were stunned. They were about to say something, but Yin Chujiu glared at them. How can you see the rainbow without experiencing the wind and rain? Your level is not high enough to ascend in the first place. You got this far because of me. It's time to earn your place. You won't die even if you take 3 or 5 hits. Stop wasting time. Little Black Rat and Little Red had no choice but to reluctantly lie on Gung Yi and Shixian's bodies, ready to help absorb the lightning strikes. Little Black Bird stood on Feng Ming's shoulder, looking as if it did not care at all. Not to mention 3 or 5 lightning bolts, even 30 lightning bolts would not be a problem for him now. Feng Ming and the other two knew that Yin Chujiu's 3 spiritual pets were not ordinary ones, so they did not decline. With their help, they would definitely be able to endure all 9 lightning bolts. Feng Ming and the others were ready, but the 4 Wu Yin in the sky were dumbfounded. Chapter 944. A Strange Ascension Dam. This damned girl was too cunning. Those 3 spiritual beasts were on those 3 people. No matter how good their aim was, it was inevitable that they would miss. Moreover, even if they were aiming at those 3 people at the beginning, those 3 could still take the initiative to help get struck by the lightning. What should they do? Yin Chujiu put her hands on her hips and said proudly, Hey Wu Yin in the sky, listen up. If you know what's good for you, just strike me with all your might. Think about it. If I ascend to the Tianyuan continent, you will be free in the future. Without me, you can regain your former glory. If you provoke me, I will not be able to ascend today. I will end up scolding the old bastard Tian Dao every 2 to 3 days. When that time comes, I will torture you to death. The 4 Wu Yin in the sky were at a loss. Yin Chujiu's words were too tempting for them. It was because of this scourge that the Wu Yin's reputation as a whole was completely ruined. If she really went to the Tianyuan continent, would they be able to rebuild their reputation? However, if they did as she said, they would be punished when they returned. If they were not careful, they might even be destroyed. What should they do? At that moment, Yin Chujiu sighed faintly. Sigh, I know it's not easy for you guys. If the heavenly lightning strikes me, I'll definitely be punished when I go back. How about this? I'll give you guys an idea. You can just do it normally. However, when you do it, You have to strike a person with a bolt of heavenly lightning, and a spiritual pet with a bolt of heavenly lightning. Those 3 are my spiritual pets anyway, so it won't affect the innocents. How about it? The 4 Wuyin thought about it and felt that it was the only way. Even if they did not agree, it was inevitable that they would not be able to strike their targets accurately. Thus, the 4 Wuyin trembled and agreed to Yin Chujiu's suggestion. Yin Chujiu was very pleased in her heart. Little brats, you still want to fight me? I can easily take care of all of you. Thus, the 3 silly munchkins helped Feng Ming and the others to absorb half of the heavenly lightning. Although Feng Ming and the other 2 were heavily injured, they were still able to hold on. The 4 Wuyin completed their mission and could not wait to float away. They wanted to tell all the Wuyin that the scourge, Yin Chujiu, was about to leave the Tianyuan continent. Their dark days were finally gone for good, and the little scourge was finally about to leave, ha ha ha. At that moment, a halo appeared in front of Yin Chujiu and the other 3. As long as they stepped into the halo, the 4 of them would be directly teleported to the Tianyuan continent. Only Ascenders had the opportunity to use such an Ascension teleportation array. Yin Chujiu smiled brightly at the crowd. Everyone, I'm going to the Tianyuan continent to terrorize them. Wait for my good news. When the time comes, I'll get some good stuff from the Tianyuan continent to sell to you. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched violently. They initially thought that Yin Chujiu meant to get some good stuff to give to them. They did not expect her to want to sell them the goods. This money grubber. However, even if she wanted to sell them, it was fine. The things in the Tianyuan continent must be much more advanced than those in the Azure Mystic continent, so it should be worth it. Prince Charming, Brother Wuji, see you in the Tianyuan continent. Yin Chujiu waved her claws at Di Biming and Shui Wuji. She had already made an agreement with Di Biming not to announce their relationship in the Tianyuan continent for the time being to avoid unnecessary trouble. It would be bad if she attracted the attention of a few white lotuses. It would be better to wait until she had a firm footing. Only then did Yin Chujiu, Feng Ming, and the other 2 step into the teleportation formation. A white light flashed and the 4 of them disappeared. At that moment, Master Xianyuan frowned. Strange. Wasn't there supposed to be a phenomenon after successfully ascending? For example, some immortal music, or flowers blooming? Why was there nothing other than the teleportation formation this time? Chapter 945. The Demon Wolf. Master Xianyuan shook his head. Perhaps he was thinking too much. Or maybe it was because thousands of years had passed, so the rules had changed. After 4 hours, Yin Chujiu and the others finally came out of the teleportation array. When they saw the scene in front of them, they were stunned. They said that after ascending, they would be teleported to Xinyuan City. Why were they in a desert instead? Yin Chujiu's heart sank. Di Biming had already arranged for Feng to pick them up in Xinyuan City. How did they end up here? Yin Chujiu took out a sound transmission talisman and wanted to ask Di Biming what was going on. She did not expect that the sound transmission talisman could not be used. Yin Chujiu had a bad premonition. She took out the chopping board and tried it. As expected, it could not be used either. Junior sister Little Jiu, didn't you say that after ascending, the injuries on your body from the lightning tribulation will heal themselves? Why haven't our injuries recovered? Feng Ming asked in puzzlement. Yin Chujiu took out 3 heaven-grade blood coagulation pills and handed them to Feng Ming and the other 2. Then she said, I'm afraid that you guys have been implicated by me. It should be Tian Dao who is causing trouble. We can only think of a way to escape this desert by ourselves, and then head to Xinyuan City. After Feng Ming and the other 2 took the pills, half their injuries instantly recovered. Shi Xian said with a smile. Junior sister Little Jiu, what do you mean by not being implicated? The 4 of us will be friends through life and death in the future. There's no need for such polite words. Senior brother Shi Xian, I naturally won't be polite with you. You might be my 7th brother-in-law in the future. Yin Chujiu could always maintain an optimistic attitude. Even if the current situation was so terrible, she could still think of a way to brighten up the atmosphere. Shi Xian's face went slightly red. Your 7th sister hasn't given me her word yet. I'll need junior sister Little Jiu's help in the future. Senior brother Shixian, don't worry. My seventh sister has doted on me since I was young. As long as you perform well, I'll put in a few good words for you. Yin Chujiu shamelessly ignored her dark history. Shixian did not know about her history, so he believed her. Then he'll have to trouble junior sister little Jiu. Yin Chujiu was secretly happy. Usually, Shixian was the most astute of the three. She did not expect him to be so foolish when he met her seventh sister. Just as the four of them were chatting and laughing, they suddenly felt a powerful pressure. Yin Chujiu could endure it, but Feng, Ming and the other two felt their chests tighten, and they could not breathe. The four of them looked ahead warily. They saw a huge demonic beast pouncing towards them. Yin Chujiu and the others had a better understanding of the demonic beasts of the Azure Mystic Continent, but they knew nothing about the demonic beasts of the Tianyuan continent. Yin Chujiu and the others had no idea what kind of demonic beast this was. They did not know what level of spiritual power it was, but one thing was for sure, this demonic beast's spiritual power level was much higher than the four of them. This demonic beast looked very similar to a wolf. It was probably a type of demonic wolf. The demonic wolf's eyes were filled with greed. It drooled as it looked at Yin Chujiu and the others. In its eyes, these four weaklings were like a free lunch. It'll test its strength first. If we can beat it, we'll fight it head on. If we can't, I'll hold it back. You guys run, then I'll catch up to you. Yin Chujiu said to Feng Ming and the other two in a low voice. Feng Ming and the other two knew that Yin Chujiu's head was full of bad ideas, and they were used to listening to Yin Chujiu's arrangements, so they simply nodded and did not raise any objections. Yin Chujiu giggled at the demonic wolf. Hey little dog, can you understand human language? Chapter 946. The powerful demon wolf. The demon wolf understood human language. It roared angrily. Fuck. You are the dog. Your whole family are dogs. When Yin Chujiu found that the demon wolf could understand her, she immediately felt confident. As long as you can understand human language, I can fool around with you even if you are a demon wolf. Little puppy, we just ascended to the Tianyuan continent, and we met you. This must be fate. Yin Chujiu said with a smile. The demon wolf looked at Yin Chujiu with disdain. No wonder she was so weak. It turned out that she had just ascended. However, didn't they say that no one had ascended for thousands of years? Why did four of them suddenly ascend? And they were all so young? However, I don't care if you ascended or not. How dare you call me a dog? I will eat you all. Little puppy, you must have never eaten any demon beasts of the Azure Mystic Continent in your life, right? Don't you want to taste them? Yin Chujiu continued to speak calmly. The demon wolf was slightly interested. Regardless of whether it was a human or a beast, they were all curious. In particular, the more intelligent a demon beast was, the more human it would be, and the more curious it would be. After seeing the change in the demon wolf's expression, Yin Chujiu took out a windblade ox carcass from her storage ring and threw it toward the demon wolf. The demon wolf hesitated for a moment and took a small bite. When it realized that there was no poison in it, so it took a larger bite. It felt that the taste was average. The higher the level of the demon beast, the better it tasted. This windblade ox was too low level, so it did not taste very good. Therefore, the demon wolf ate half of the leg and stopped eating. Yin Chujiu calmly threw out a big piece of bloodthirsty sword shark meat. Little puppy, try the taste of the demon beast in the sea. I guess you haven't eaten demon beasts from the sea? After the demon wolf had tasted the taste of the windblade ox meat, it had lost interest in the demon beasts of the Azure Mystic Continent. However, when it heard that it was a sea beast, it immediately became curious. It had never eaten a demon beast from the sea, so it was curious on what it tasted like. After the demon wolf smelled that there was no poison, it took a bite. The bloodthirsty sword shark was a level 13 sea beast. Although its level was not as high as the demon wolf's, the spiritual energy contained in its meat was still relatively rich. Moreover, it was a sea beast that the demon wolf had never eaten before. Therefore, the demon wolf swallowed a large piece of the bloodthirsty sword shark's meat in just a few bites. The demon wolf was not satisfied with the meal. It rolled its eyes and roared at Yin Chujiu a few times. Yin Chujiu quickly threw out another large piece of the bloodthirsty sword shark's meat. The demon wolf ate the entire piece and then roared at Chujiu a few times. Chujiu threw out another large piece of the bloodthirsty sword shark meat. The demon wolf ate 5 large pieces of the bloodthirsty sword shark meat in a row, and then stopped. The sea beast meat was nothing much. Its eyes revealed a greedy light. It was ready to bite Chujiu and the others to death, so that it could move on to the next meal. A faint light flashed in Chujiu's eyes. Little puppy, you still want to eat us? Let's see who laughs last. Just as the demon wolf was about to pounce on Chujiu and the other 3, Chujiu shouted, "Wait, little puppy, aren't you changing your face too quickly? As the saying goes, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. You've eaten so many of my things, yet you still want to eat us. Don't you have a dog's face?" The demon wolf howled in anger, "Am not a dog, am a wolf. I will devour you for that insult." The demon wolf opened its mouth and hundreds of wind blades flew towards Chujiu and the other 3. Feng, Ming and the other 2 were far away, so they easily dodged the wind blades. Although Chujiu was not injured, she was left in a difficult position. She was in awe. The demon beasts of the Tianyuan continent were shockingly powerful. It seemed that they were indeed the weakest beings in the Tianyuan continent. Chapter 947. Good women don't fight dogs. When the demon wolf saw that Chujiu had dodged its wind blades, a trace of surprise flashed in its eyes. It thought that Chujiu was so weak that she could be killed with one move, but it did not expect that she had dodged all the blades. The demon wolf opened its mouth again, and hundreds of wind blades shot out again. However, this time, they were all aimed at Chujiu alone. It hated Chujiu so much when she called it a dog. It was a disgrace to a wolf to be treated like a dog. Chujiu relied on her agility and defensive spirit tools to dodge the demon wolf's attack. Before the demon wolf could launch another attack, Chujiu waved her left and right hands repeatedly, and a few purple lightning bolts struck the demon wolf's face. The demon wolf jumped to the side and dodged Chujiu's attack. The demon wolf was shocked. It was a heavenly thunder root spirit. No wonder she had ascended to the Tianyuan continent at such a young age. Although the demon wolf was a little surprised, it did not take it to heart. Although this little girl had a heavenly thunder root spirit, her level was too low. Even if it was struck by her, it would not cause too much damage. Today, these people were fated to be its dinner. Suddenly Chujiu shouted, "Run!" Feng, Ming and the other 2 turned around and began to run. The demon wolf looked at them with contempt and thought, "I will kill that little girl first, and then go after the other 3. They will not be able to run far." The demon wolf continued to attack Chujiu, while coming up with its own plan. After Chujiu barely dodged its attacks, she continued to attack the demon wolf with lightning. The demon wolf was very disdainful. Its body was strong and it only needed to dodge to avoid appearing weak. Such weak lightning was not a big deal to it. "Stupid girl, accept your death." Chujiu barely managed to hold on for less than 15 minutes. The defensive spiritual tool on her body cracked and shattered into more than 10 pieces, which left her barely injured. At that moment, the demon wolf spat out hundreds of wind blades again. While Chujiu dodged, she threw a big sack at the demon wolf and ran away. The big sack was cut into pieces by the wind blades, and the chili inside immediately scattered in all directions. Chujiu was mentally prepared. She ran while holding her breath, while the demon wolf was in trouble. No matter how high its rank was, it could not stand the pungent smell. It choked until tears flowed down its face, and it sneezed continuously. What annoyed it most was that the little girl's arrogant voice came from afar. "Little puppy, a good woman doesn't fight with dogs. Goodbye." The demon wolf was so angry that its eyes turned red. It also choked from the chili but still chased after Chujiu. Feng, Ming and the other 2 were worried about Chujiu, so they did not run too far. When they saw Chujiu's figure approaching, they continued running with all their strength. Although the 4 of them used all their strength, in less than an hour, the demon wolf gradually closed the distance. It roared as it chased them. There were also some demonic beasts below level 14 in that desert. Initially, when they saw Chujiu and the others, they wanted to attack them. However, when they heard the demonic wolf's furious howl, they immediately ran away with their tails tucked between their legs. Junior sister little Jiu, we can't escape like this. There's nothing in this desert except sand. There's no place to hide even if we want to. Ming said while panting heavily. Don't worry. Let's hold on for a while longer. I'll have a way to deal with it. A trace of cunning flashed in Chujiu's eyes. Ming and the other two were puzzled. Junior sister Jiu was not bragging, right? That demon wolf's strength was so monstrous. What method could she have to deal with it? If she had a plan, would she still have to escape in such a sorry state? At that moment, the demon wolf behind them had already caught up. It roared at the four people. Then it saw that the little girl had not run anymore. She stopped and turned her head to look at it with a smile. Chapter 948. The demon wolf who died with a grievance. The demon wolf was stunned. Why did this little girl stop running? She was even smiling at me. Is she crazy? Little puppy, I advise you to leave quickly. Otherwise, if you anger me, things won't end well for you. I'm very cruel. Chujiu hugged her shoulders and said smugly. The demon wolf almost laughed out of anger. This little girl was most likely suffering from hysteria. She was having a seizure. The demon wolf snorted in disdain and opened his mouth, shooting hundreds of wind blades at Chujiu. Chujiu smiled coldly and summoned 5 immortal swords, stabbing them at the demon wolf's eyes, ears and nose. The demon wolf was shocked. Fuck. This little girl was very strange. It was fine if she had a heavenly thunder root spirit, but how could she command 5 flying swords at the same time? Even a spirit saint could not do it. How could a weak little chicken at the first level of the spirit sect have such a strong spiritual sense? The demon wolf did not dare to be negligent. Although its body was strong, the parts that were targeted by the 5 immortal swords were the most vulnerable parts of its body. It had to dodge them. Chujiu relied on the 5 immortal swords to hold on for less than 15 minutes. More than a dozen of the defensive spirit tools on Chujiu's body cracked and shattered, which left her barely injured. The demon wolf's eyes flashed with pride. The little girl could not hold on for much longer. Although she was a little strange, she was still weak. She should just die. Unexpectedly, the little girl said faintly, "It's almost time. Little puppy, don't you feel that there's something wrong?" The demon wolf was stunned. It did not know what Chujiu meant, but it immediately knew because it realized that its spiritual power was rapidly flowing away. This must be because she had done something to the demon beast meat just now. Damn it. It had to end the battle as soon as possible, and try to kill these 4 people before its spiritual power disappeared. The demon wolf went berserk. At that time, Chujiu let Ming and the other 2 join the battle, and the 4 people began to besiege the demon wolf. Although the spiritual power of Ming and the other 2 was not yet stable, they were still at the first level of the spirit sect. In addition to the decrease in the spiritual power of the demon wolf, the 4 people barely lasted another 15 minutes with the demon wolf. Fortunately, the drug took effect, and the spiritual power of the demon wolf became weaker and weaker. The 4 of them finally had the upper hand. An hour later, the demon wolf was finally killed by the 4 of them. It never thought that it would be killed by 4 weak chickens at the first level of the spirit sect. It did not even fully close its eyes until it died. Chujiu put the corpse of the demon wolf into the spiritual beast bag, and then said to Ming and the other 3, "The smell of blood here is too strong. It would be bad if other demon beasts were attracted. Let's leave this place quickly." The group went in the opposite direction from where the wolf came from. They ran dozens of miles away in one breath, and then collapsed on the ground, panting heavily. The 4 people's hearts were covered with a layer of shadow. That demonic wolf should not be considered a high-level demonic beast in the Tianyuan continent, but even such a low-level demonic beast had reduced the 4 of them to such a sorry state. If it had not been for its lack of vigilance and accidentally eating the soul-devouring powder, they would probably be in deep trouble. The desert was so vast that there was no end to it. They did not know what other demon beasts they would encounter. They would not die here, would they? The weather in the desert was very hot. The sun scorched them above their heads. Chujiu had the strange grass secrete 3 drops of refreshing beads, and handed them to Ming and the other 2. The three of them miraculously discovered that with those beads, their bodies had become cooler. The four of them rested for a moment and ate some food before continuing on their journey. They tried their best to travel more during the day, but they absolutely could not travel at night. At night, it was when the demon beasts run amok. Chapter 949. Wolfpack. The next half-day went smoothly. Although they encountered a few demonic beasts, they were all below level 14, and did not pose a threat to the four of them. However, Chujiu was very uneasy. Wolves had always lived in groups. Today, they only encountered one demon wolf at noon. It was unusual. Either that demonic wolf was a lone wolf that was driven out by the wolf pack, or it was sent out to look for food. If it was the former, it would be easier to deal with it. If it was the latter, it would be bad. The wolf's desire for revenge was extremely strong. If they were targeted by the wolf pack, they would most likely be in deep trouble. At night, everyone found a slightly raised sand dune. They lit a bonfire at the back and took turns to be on guard. They began to rest. At midnight, Ming, who was in charge of the guard, woke up Chujiu and the other two in fear. Chujiu looked in the direction that Ming pointed to and saw several dark blue eyes staring at them fiercely. Only when they got closer did she realize that there were 15 demon wolves. 3 words flashed across their minds. They were dead for sure. Just one demon wolf in the morning had taken everything they had to kill it. Now that there were 15 of them, how could they survive? Chujiu could not help but smile bitterly. What she feared had come true. One of them could be killed with a little trickery. Now that 15 of them had come at once, there was nothing she could do no matter how hard she tried. Now, she had no other choice but to fight them head-on. Chujiu observed for a moment. There was a wolf in the southeast corner that was slightly smaller in size. It should be the one with the weakest spiritual power. She could only try to find a breakthrough point there, and then run away. Chujiu whispered her plan to Ming and the other two. After Ming and the other two heard it, the four of them immediately trembled, looking like they were scared out of their wits. The demon wolf pack howled. These 4 humans were too timid. They were already so scared before they even attacked. They were too weak. Just as the demon wolf pack was feeling proud, Chujiu and the other 3 suddenly attacked the demon wolf in the southeast corner. The demon wolf was the youngest and was laughing at the humans along with the other demon wolves. They did not expect Chujiu and the other 3 to suddenly attack it. When it saw several spiritual attacks coming towards it, it subconsciously dodged to the side. Chujiu and the others immediately jumped through the gap and ran for their lives. Chujiu threw out the demon beast's corpses as she ran, hoping she could delay them for a while. She did not expect the demon wolves to be so cunning. They left 2 demon wolves to guard the corpses, while the other demon wolves continued to pursue Chujiu and the others. These demon wolves had always lived in the desert. Their running speed was much faster than Chujiu and the other 3. The wolves soon caught up to them. Chujiu used the same trick again. She threw a few sacks of chili and pepper noodles. Although she initially distracted a few demon wolves, they soon stopped falling for her tricks. Chujiu and the other 3 were once again encircled by the wolf pack. Chujiu had already used up all her dirty tricks. The 4 of them could only fight head-on. Chujiu also released Little Black Bird, Little Black Rat, and Little Red. They engaged in a chaotic battle with the pack of demon wolves. Whether it was in terms of numbers or strength, there was a huge gap between the 2 sides. Soon, Ming and the other 2 were injured, and the demon wolves became even more rabid when they smelled fresh blood. Chujiu threw a few bottles of heaven-grade blood coagulation pills and exploding spirit pills to Ming and the other 2. After the 3 of them consumed them, they barely managed to hold on. 15 minutes later, Ming and the other 2 had already fallen to the ground with serious injuries. The demon wolf pounced on them and was about to bite them when Chujiu suddenly remembered that there was a protective array in her storage ring. She quickly activated the protective array. Chapter 950. The black bead that awaited death. What she did not expect was that the protective array that could be considered a life-saving method in the Azure Mystic continent was broken through by the demon wolves in less than half an hour. Fortunately, Chujiu obtained a few protective arrays and quickly activated them one by one. Chujiu took advantage of the gap in the fighting to think of a way through their predicament. No matter what, she could not just accept her fate. She had to think of a way to escape. However, the more Chujiu thought about it, the more she felt that there was no way to survive. She had already used all the methods that she could. The Great Void Mirror could only produce demon beasts below level 9. They were too weak, so it would be useless. Under the pressure of those demon wolves, they would immediately collapse to the ground. It would not be of any use at all. Furry had a limited number of sticky silk nets. Moreover, this was a sandy land, so the sticky silk nets would not be of much use. There were some poisonous pills, but these demonic wolves were very shrewd. They would hold their breath when she raised her hand, and it was of no use at all. Could it be that they could only await their deaths? Little mirror, can you let us enter the Great Void Mystic Realm? Chujiu asked the Great Void Mirror with her consciousness. The Great Void Mirror swayed, and Chujiu sighed. As expected, it still could not do it. Only the strange grass in her dantian could be of some use. The other two were completely useless. The Great Void Mirror could at least provide some low-level demon beasts and spiritual herbs. Only that damn black bead, other than eating, could do nothing else. It was a fucking glutton. The black bead seemed to have sensed Chujiu's resentment, and it trembled with pride, showing off its power. Chujiu was so angry that she cursed, "Fuck. Glass ball, don't be so proud. If I die, you can eat dirt in this desert." The black bead trembled indifferently, as if it had nothing to do with Chujiu's impending death. Chujiu was so angry that she almost hit the wall. She thought that if she provoked it, the black bead would burst out with some mysterious power. She did not expect it to be a good-for-nothing, just waiting to die. She was so angry that she almost died from frustration. At the critical moment, she could not count on any of them. What should she do? At that time, Chujiu only had the last protective disc in her hand. She was not willing to use it immediately, and was prepared to only use it at the critical moment. After a short rest, Feng, Ming and the other two had recovered some of their physical strength and spiritual power. The four of them once again started to fight with the demon wolf pack. Although the four of them and two beasts were fighting with their lives, the difference in strength was too great. Little Black Rat and Little Red were the first to fall to the ground. Chujiu had no choice but to put the two of them into her spirit beast bag. Soon after, Feng, Ming and the other two fell to the ground with injuries even more serious than the previous time. The three of them felt that they were really done for. There was no way for them to survive. Chujiu was also cut by the demon wolf's wind blades. However, she had the strange grass healing and she fared slightly better than Feng, Ming and the others. However, she could only parry the attacks and did not have the strength to fight back. Junior sister Little Jiu, just leave us. You can escape by yourself. There might be a chance for you to survive. Feng Ming screamed. Junior sister Little Jiu was agile. Without the three of them holding her back, she might be able to escape. Chujiu ignored him and continued to do her best to protect Feng Ming and the other two. The Wolf King was a little impatient. It thought that the four weaklings would be taken down soon, but they had been delayed repeatedly. It was embarrassing. The Wolf King roared angrily and the demon wolf pack intensified their attacks. Chujiu could not hold on any longer. A demon wolf opened its bloody mouth and was about to bite Chujiu's left leg. Fortunately, the little black bird immediately cursed. The demon wolf staggered and was stabbed in the eyes by Chujiu's immortal sword. Only then did it retreat. At the critical moment of life and death, the little black bird shouted, "Master Little Blackbird," and the others said that they want to help you take care of the pack of wolves. Chapter 951. What were those things? Chujiu quickly activated the last protective disc and took out an ancient jade vase from her spirit beast pouch. The four remnant soul lords floated out of the ancient jade vase. Feng Ming and the other two were dumbfounded when they saw this. Oh my god. Weren't these remnant souls from the ancient sword tomb? How did they end up with junior sister little Jiu? Aren't you guys worn out after leaving the ancient jade vase? How are you going to help me? Yin Chujiu asked in puzzlement. After Fu Ao and the other three condensed their bodies, they smiled bitterly and said, "Little girl, we are now on the same boat. It's night now, so the Yin Qi is stronger. We can hold on for a while longer." Yin Chujiu had no alternative. She could only take out the various ancient jade vases from the spirit beast pouch and uncork the bottles one by one. Thousands of remnant souls floated out and quickly condensed into human form. Those demon wolves were all dumbfounded. Damn. What were those things? Remnant souls? Remnant souls? Didn't this thing summon heavenly thunder? Why did the little girl have so many remnant souls too? This doesn't make sense. Time was tight. Yin Chujiu waved her hands and thousands of remnant souls rushed towards the demon wolf pack. The demon wolf pack did not wait to fight and already intended to retreat. They had never fought with these things before. Not to mention that there were so many of them, although their spiritual power was not as high as ours. Those things were fleeting and they really couldn't attack. The Wolf King roared a few times, and the wolf pack ran away without fighting. Yin Chujiu did not dare delay and quickly led the remnant souls back into the ancient jade vase, and then put the ancient jade vase into the spirit beast pouch. Senior brother Feng Ming, you guys clean up the blood on your bodies. We have to leave this place immediately. The wolf pack is only intimidated, and they will likely catch up again. Although Feng Ming and the other two had many questions, they knew that it was not the time to ask them. After swallowing the pill, they used the cleaning spell, and the four of them resumed running. What the four of them did not notice was that some Wu Yin had started to gather in the distance and drifted towards them. However, with the cover of the night and the four of them being in a hurry to escape, they did not notice. The four of them ran for more than 2 hours. When they saw that no demon wolves had not chased them, they panted heavily and collapsed on the ground. At that moment, they realized how weak they were. Originally, the four of them were considered to be at the top of the tower in the Azure Mystic continent. They did not expect that they would end up at the bottom of the food chain in the Tianyuan continent. Yin Chujiu was still slightly better. She had already gotten used to it. However, it was difficult for Feng Ming and the other two to get used to the disparity in strength in their hearts. Although Yin Chujiu's words had prepared them mentally when they met, their hearts were still a little uncomfortable, so they could only slowly get used to it. Junior sister little Jiu, aren't those remnant souls from the ancient sword tomb? Feng Ming asked curiously. Yin Chujiu nodded. Yes, I was the one who brought them out. Senior brothers, regardless of whether it's the pills I gave you or the remnant souls, you must keep it a secret. Otherwise, it will bring us trouble. Junior sister little Jiu, don't worry. We know what to do. Feng Ming and the other two nodded solemnly. Even if Yin Chujiu did not remind them, they knew what to say and what not to say. Just as the four of them were talking, the roar of a beast came from afar again. It was different from a wolf's howl from before. This time, it was a tiger's howl. The four of them could not help but smile bitterly. They had just left the wolf's den and entered a tiger's den. The four people had no chance to escape, because 10 giant tigers had already surrounded them. Chapter 952. Whose subordinates are you? The pressure from these demon tigers was even stronger than the demon wolves from before. Yin Chujiu's heart was once again covered with a layer of doubt. The remnant souls had just come out to chase off the wolves, and their bodies had already become increasingly faint. If she released them again, some of the weak souls would probably dissipate. She had already brought them out of the ancient sword tomb. If she allowed them to lose their lives just to save her, she would feel uneasy. The 10 demon tigers slowly drew closer. Yin Chujiu gritted her teeth and decided to fool them for a while. At the very least, it would give Feng Ming and the other two some time to recover, hence, she smiled coldly at the Tiger King. Little kitten, the little puppy did not dare to do anything to us. Are you going to take the risk? The Tiger King looked around in confusion. Little kitten? Where did this cat come from in the desert? Suddenly it reacted. Fuck. This little girl was talking about me. Was little puppy referring to the demon wolf king from before? The Tiger King glared at Chujiu fiercely and opened its bloody mouth to roar. Chujiu had an unimpressed expression, and she did not even retreat. Her tone was still cold. You guys should be smarter than those puppies, right? After all, your levels are higher than theirs. The Tiger King arrogantly raised its head and thought, what nonsense. Naturally, we're much smarter than those stupid wolves. If that's the case, why are you still surrounding us? We don't need bodyguards. Why aren't you leaving yet? Chujiu waved her hands at the group of tigers. The group of tigers subconsciously took a few steps back. The Tiger King was so angry that he roared twice, fuck, are you my subordinates or the stinky girls? She said to retreat, and you guys just retreated. A few demon tigers dejectedly took a few more steps forward and glared fiercely at Chujiu. It was all because of this stinky girl that they were fooled. The Tiger King's big eyeballs rolled around. These 4 humans had indeed run over from the demon wolf's territory. Logically speaking, they were weak, so how did they escape? Could there be something fishy? Chujiu saw that the Tiger King was a little suspicious. She then said, Little kitten, we don't interfere with each other's business. We are just passing by, there is no conflict at all. If you let us go, I will not treat you unfairly. I will give you some demon beast meat. I guarantee that you will be full. It is better than eating the 4 of us skinny people, right? The Tiger King rolled his eyes, wondering if the demon wolves earlier was bought over by the little girl's demon beast meats? Teach. How stupid of them. The demon beast meat naturally would be eaten, and the 4 humans would then be dessert. The Tiger King glanced at Chujiu and then roared a few times. Chujiu quickly took out a few large pieces of the bloodthirsty sword shark's meat. She did not do anything this time because this Tiger King was much smarter than the lone wolf. She did not want to make things worse. These demon tigers had never eaten the flesh of sea beasts before. When they ate it out of the blue, they felt that the taste was very strange, so they fought each other for a chance to eat more. However, the Tiger King was very vigilant. He kept 2 tigers watching Chujiu and the others, afraid that they would take the opportunity to escape. Although there was a lot of bloodthirsty sword shark meat, it was not enough to feed all the demon tigers. Soon it was almost gone. When Chujiu saw that Feng, Ming and the other 2 had almost recovered, she gave them a look and the 4 of them suddenly ran forward. The 2 demon tigers on guard had watched the other demon tigers eat, and did not pay attention to Chujiu and the other 2 when they escaped. The Tiger King was so angry that he roared and mauled the 2 careless tigers. Then he led his subordinates in pursuit of the 4. Chapter 953. Such wickedness. Chujiu wanted to cry, but no tears came out. After ascending, people would go shopping and enjoy the scenery. Instead, she was put in life-or-death situations one after the other. The Tiger King roared from behind. It had always thought of itself as smart, but today, it was deceived by a little girl. One could imagine how embarrassed and angry it was. In just 15 minutes, Chujiu and the other 3 were once again surrounded by the group of tigers. Junior sister Little Jiu, I'm afraid we really can't escape now, Gungi said while panting. They could barely stand, let alone fight a group of tigers. Chujiu's physical strength was slightly better than theirs, but she had no idea how to escape at all. The chili and pepper noodles were already used to deal with the demon wolf just now, and the remaining items she had were of no use. This time there was no way out. The Tiger King approached Chujiu step by step. Fuck, it had to eat this little girl first. It was enraged at being lied to so casually. Just as Chujiu was about to summon her 5 immortal swords to fight the Tiger King to the death, a bolt of purple lightning as thick as an adult's arm suddenly flew from the thick clouds in the sky, heading straight for Chujiu. The Tiger King was almost scared to death. With a whoosh, it retreated hundreds of feet away. The other demon tigers also dodged it. This heavenly lightning was no joke. Once it struck the body, it would either kill or injure it. Chujiu's heart was filled with joy. The lightning in the Tianyuan continent was much cuter than the lightning in the Azure Mystic continent. It came at the right time. Ha ha ha. The Tiger King saw that not only did Chujiu not dodge, but she was also laughing foolishly. He thought to himself, could this little girl have lost her mind from being scared silly? This strike would at least take away half of her life. At that time, it would not be too late to eat her. However, something that made it dumbfounded happened. Although the lightning struck the little girl's body, nothing happened to her. Moreover, she seemed to be very comfortable. How was this possible? The Tiger King blinked his eyes with great effort. At the time, a second bolt of heavenly lightning also fell from the clouds. It still struck the little girl. The little girl still did not dodge, and happily allowed the heavenly lightning to hit her repeatedly. Just as the Tiger King was in a daze, he saw the little girl give a mischievous smile. Then, she happily jumped towards him. The Tiger King immediately understood what Chujiu meant, and was so angry that he almost fainted. This damn little girl was really wicked. She was planning to let the heavenly lightning strike it to death. It was too wicked. The Tiger King was so scared that he repeatedly dodged. Chujiu said with a smile, "Little kitten, don't run. Didn't you want to eat me? Come and eat me now." The Tiger King wanted to kill this damn girl with a swipe of its claw. However, when it saw the lightning and the heavenly power contained in it, it retreated hundreds of feet with its tail tucked between its legs. Chujiu did not chase after it. Instead, she glanced at the other demon tigers with ill intentions. Those demon tigers were so scared that they did not bother surrounding Chujiu and the other three. They also fled alongside the Tiger King. Chujiu hooked her finger at the Tiger King. "Little kitten, come on. There won't be such a free meal like us after this. If you don't eat me, I will leave." The Tiger King was so angry that it howled. It thought to itself, "Don't be so smug. After the lightning stops, I will chase after you and eat you." Chujiu naturally understood this point. When Feng, Ming and the other two recovered a little, she would let them run as far as possible. She would use the power of lightning to discourage the group of tigers from giving chase. At that moment, Wuyin in the sky was also dumbfounded. Fuck. When did such a monster appear in the Tianyuan continent? It had already struck her 7 or 8 times, but why was she completely fine? Chapter 954. The little beauty had turned bald. The Wuyin in the sky had never met such a strange person. Even if some other mighty figures could withstand several bolts of lightning, they should be sitting cross-legged and meditating, as if they were facing a great enemy. When had it ever met a strange one who was not afraid but was jumping around happily? The Wuyin was getting a little competitive. It had to protect the dignity of their heavenly lightning. No matter what, it had to kill this scourge today. Therefore, the thunder kept on rumbling. One after another, heavenly lightning bolts struck down towards Chujiu. Although the heavenly lightning was much thicker than the heavenly lightning in the Azure Mystic Continent, it did not matter to Chujiu. The more lightning struck, the better. It was easier to scare the tigers. The Tiger King and its underlings were indeed scared silly. Oh my god! Was this little girl human? Even a spirit paragon could not withstand so many heavenly lightning bolts. Moreover, she was so happy as if she had struck gold. It was too scary for the tigers. Although the Tiger King was unwilling to leave, the Wuyin seemed like it would not stop until the little girl was struck to death. It was terrified of what might happen if it stayed there. Oh my god, it was better for them to leave while they could. If that Wuyin could not kill the little girl, it would be bad if it got frustrated and targeted the tigers instead. Therefore, the Tiger King commanded its underlings to escape and ran away with its tail between its legs. When Chujiu saw that the Tiger King had left, she calmed down and ran after Feng, Ming and the other two. The Wuyin in the sky had misunderstood. It had thought that Chujiu was afraid of it and followed Chujiu closely. Chujiu was overjoyed. The Wuyin in the Tianyuan continent was really cute. It was like a free bodyguard. With the protection of the heavenly lightning, which demon beast would dare to provoke her? Humph. The Wuyin in the sky did not know what Chujiu was planning. If it knew, it would probably die from anger. Feng, Ming and the other two heard the Wuyin approaching. They turned around and saw Chujiu had winked at them, signaling them to run. Feng, Ming and the other two felt as if 100 divine beasts were chasing them. The only one who could abuse the Wuyin like this was junior sister little Jiu, the little devil. When the demon beasts in the desert heard the endless thunder, they were so scared that they hid in their nests, afraid that they would be struck by the heavenly lightning. Therefore, Chujiu and the rest did not encounter any demon beasts. However, they did not dare to be careless. Who knew when the heavenly lightning would stop striking? They had to take this good opportunity to leave the desert as soon as possible. The four of them ran as fast as they could. The more they did so, the more the Wu Yin in the sky felt that Chujiu was afraid. In addition, they were not convinced, so they continued to strike from the second half of the night until the sky was bright. Chujiu saw the green grass in front of her from afar. She was delighted. It seemed that they were about to leave the desert. It would be safe if they walked on grass again. The thunder gradually became more and more sparse, and the lightning bolts became thinner and thinner. The Wu Yin in the sky eventually floated away. However, it grew to hate Chujiu in its heart. That damn scourge. If there was a next time, she would be struck to death. Feng, Ming and the other two surrounded her happily. Little Jiu, are you okay? Chujiu touched her head and said with a bitter face, I'm fine except for one thing. I forgot to tie my handkerchief to my head in my panic earlier. Now a little beauty has become bald. Feng, Ming and the other two looked at Chujiu's bald head and laughed. Then, they quickly held back their laughter, afraid that Chujiu would take revenge on them. Like the little black bird, little Jiu was a vengeful person. Chapter 955. Anyone can see that you are beautiful. Chujiu glared at them. After applying the hair growth pill on her head, she took out a handkerchief and tied it to her head. She still had two small tails behind her, which were trembling. Junior sister little Jiu, you are now a natural beauty. You still look like a little beauty this way. Feng Ming said in a flattering manner. Xian also quickly said, yes, junior sister little Jiu. Some people say beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, but for a peerless beauty like you, anyone can see you are naturally beautiful. Chujiu touched her chin. Senior brother Xian, why does this word sound so familiar? It sounds like something I told seventh sister. How did you know? Xian laughed dryly. It's a coincidence. Pure coincidence. Chujiu curled her lips. Let's rest for a while, then continue on our journey. We'll have a good rest when we reach the town. Feng Ming and the other two nodded. After eating some pills, they ate what food they had and began to meditate on the spot to rest. At that moment, the sound of footsteps could be heard in the distance. The laughter of young men and women could also be heard. Chujiu's heart was filled with a mix of joy and worry. Seeing a cultivator meant that this place should not be far from the town. However, she did not know what kind of person they were. It was common for cultivators to kill and steal treasures from others. The four of them had such weak spiritual energy too, so it was inevitable that they would be bullied. Chujiu decided to remain still, and did not move. She glanced at the person from the corner of her eyes. About 10 people walked over from the distance. Men and women were chatted and laughed. The atmosphere was very harmonious. The men were handsome while the women were charming. They were all good-looking. The clothes they wore were not uniform, so they should not be from the same faction. They should only be on good terms with each other. That was why they came out to train together. At that moment, those people also saw Chujiu and the other three. Feng Ming and the other two were also very outstanding. Although Chujiu did not have hair, her skin was as white as snow. Her exquisite facial features also made people's eyes light up. However, when they realized that the four of them were only at the first level of the spirit sect, immediately, they no longer had any intention of befriending them. A few of them even curled their lips and said with a sneer, "You have grown a good bag of skin for nothing. You four good for nothings." If Feng Ming and the other two had heard someone say this in the past, they would have confronted them. However, Chujiu had already given them some food for thought. Therefore, although they felt indignant in their hearts, they did not say anything and continued to meditate and rest. Not only is their spiritual power bad, their ears are not working well. TSK, how pitiful. Tere, what do you mean your ears are not working well? This is called being sensible. They are smart. If they dare provoke us, I will cripple them. Exactly, such trash can be beaten with a single finger. However, in front of us is the flaming desert. Could it be that these 4 people want to enter the flaming desert? Forget it. With trash like them, they still want to enter the flaming desert? They should be hunting low-level demonic beasts at the edge of the desert. Yin Chujiu sneered in her heart. It seemed that there were quite a number of people who thought highly of themselves wherever they went. They could say whatever they wanted as long as they did not provoke them. Otherwise, do not think that I, Yin Chujiu, would dare to kill you just because you have high spiritual power. At this time an arrogant voice said, Hey, since the 4 of you have already been here, have you seen the purple heavenly lightning? Yin Chujiu's heart moved. Could it be that these people came for the purple heavenly lightning? Could it be that they thought that some heavenly treasure had appeared? Yin Chujiu said indifferently, We have seen it. It kept going on for several hours, and it was very scary. We were so scared until our legs went soft, so we sat down to rest. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.